I'm using the word that you don't like it, but I'm using it just to give the context. These days, everybody's talking about open source. Everybody's, even Microsoft, day before yesterday, they announced Azure Sphere OS, which is running Linux. So I asked them.
Linux the kernel.
Linux the kernel, and they are customized. So I asked them very clearly that since Linux the kernel is released on the GNU GPL version 2, will you also be releasing the source code? And so they say, yeah, we'll comply with all the licenses that goes.
Well, that's good. See, that program is free software.
Yes.
It's released under a free software license I wrote, which requires redistributors to respect the freedom of users, and Microsoft is even going to respect the user's freedom with regard to that particular program. Well, I'm glad about that. I, however, have to acknowledge that the people who coined the term open source as a reaction against the free software movement have done us a lot of harm. Until 1998, as our software, including the GNU/Linux operating system, spread, it made people aware of our ideas, not with 100% effectiveness, but sometimes it did. But in 1998, they coined the term open source to disconnect our software from our ethical ideas. And they were fairly effective at that. Since then, we have to work hard to teach people, even the users of our software, that there's such a thing as the free software movement, that it's a movement for their freedom, that this is not just a matter of more convenient, more reliable software. I mean, those are secondary desirable things, but they're not as important as freedom. Freedom is crucial. So we do the work. We continue teaching people about the free software movement. We no longer get help from our software as much, but we still do it. The people who started this, the people who started open source, they hoped that we would feel pressured to use the term open source too. And if I had been thinking in a short-term way, I would have done it. But I realized that if I did that, our ideas would be totally buried. But that if I continued to say free software and use it to distinguish our ideas from theirs, at least we would have a way of getting known, making our ideas known to people. And so I'm sure I did the right thing when I decided I would not use the term open source.
The reason I was building the content was two. Number one, how do you feel that Microsoft, a company which was kind of proprietary, now they are going to release something which has GNU GPL version 2?
Well, but it's just the beginning. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of non-free software.
But do you feel happy or good about it?
I see it as a small step. Remember, the goal is kick non-free software out of your life, kick it out of our society. We should all be free. So when you compare this step with that goal, I see it as a small positive step.